Hey all, my name is Luke. I make bags from high performance materials that would otherwise be discarded. Today I'm here in the sewing shop in Portland, Oregon, on the east side, about 2 blocks away from the river, across from downtown, and in between the Morrison and the Hawthorne Bridge. So today I want to do something a little bit different. My good buddy Chris got a bunch of old nautical charts from the 70s and 80s, so they're not really good for navigating anymore, but they still look really cool. And I was trying to figure out what to do with them, either like make some epoxy pour tables with them, or maybe even make some bags out of them. And then I found some of this super thin Dyneema that's see-through and has an adhesive on the back, and I thought, what if I put this on one side, laminated the other side, because it is just paper, right? It's thick, good quality paper, but you can't really make long-lasting bags out of paper. So I thought maybe let's try laminating it on both sides with this sticky back material and make some bags out of it. So let's give it a shot. So first things first, here is the stack of old nautical charts. Let's see if we can find one that will work well for this bag. I personally really like these ones from the 70s. They have this cool font on them, and some of these, you know, they're obviously used, so you can see where the person who was using them to navigate marked their position, and it's just really cool to me. And for those of y'all who don't know, the difference between maps and charts is a chart is about the water and a map is about land. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, I think I found the one I'm going to use today. This one is the Broken Group Barkley Sound. From everything that I hear, it is one of the most beautiful places on this planet, and I can't wait to finish my boat project so we can go check it out someday. So let's get some pattern pieces on here and get cutting. All right, so now we've got the medium drop liner pack pattern pieces all drawn out on here. Now it's time to cut it, and I use my specific shears for cutting paper for this because you don't want to be cutting paper with your nice fabric shears. All right, so now I've got all my exterior pattern pieces cut out for the medium drop liner backpack, including a few pieces of scrap here for my zipper garages. So now it's time to laminate them. So like I mentioned in the intro, for this process, I do have a really short roll now of this thin kind of see-through Dyneema, and it's a PSA, which stands for pressure sensitive adhesive. So like the stuff that we use in the sail making world to put on numbers and logos on sails, it's got a sticky back to it. And the thing about this stuff is it's very sticky, and especially once you stick it to something like paper, it is not coming off there. So you got to get it right the first time or you're kind of done. So let's see if I can pull this off. I'll start with the biggest piece first. And unfortunately there is a little bit of waste that goes into this just because of the way I have to do this. So as you'll see here, so you know, this is paper on the bottom, but it is fabric on top, so I usually do just use my normal shears for this. I'm sorry if that makes you cringe. So I don't know if you guys do anything like, you know, window tinting on car windows, or this is the way that I was taught how to apply adhesives to put a sale number on when I was first getting started. So basically you get the first bit put down here, make sure it's straight. Yep, looks good. So I just stick that down to the table here, then flip this over backwards and just pull it like so, and hopefully we won't get any air bubbles. And if we do, we can kind of push them out like that. So there we go. There's the first piece. And I will put something on the back of it too, because, you know, this is paper, so we want something that's going to make it waterproof. But there's the first piece laminated. So I'll go through and do the rest of them, and then I'll laminate the back of them and then trim off the edges and get going on cutting the rest of the pieces for the backpack. So that one didn't turn out all that well. There's some little creases, but like I said, once you stick it on there, especially on paper, if I tried to take it back up, it would just rip the paper to pieces. So a couple little tucks in there, but you know, it's just an extra little layer of Dyneema, so no big deal, hopefully. Then I've got my couple little pieces for my zipper garages here. Let's see if any of these, nope, that's too skinny. Actually, I might just, this is as thick as I need it for a zipper garage, so I'll just do this and trim around the paper this time. All right, so now I've got all the front sides laminated with this see-through, really thin Dyneema. It's strong, but it's super light and waterproof and all that good stuff. Obviously, for this front panel where the grab handle is going to go on, I'm going to add reinforcement behind it. So just a layer of VX21 or something kind of thin but strong, because yeah, if you had this sewn on handle here and you were grabbing it, it would just rip through this really thin stuff. So definitely going to reinforce that and any other areas that need it. But now I'll go through and laminate the back side of it and then trim off the excess. And this stuff is called Insignia fabric. They use it in the sail making world to do numbers, logos, all that kind of stuff. So it's a thin nylon, I want to say. It's pretty thin stuff, but it has this paper adhesive layer on it, so you can take it off like so. And it's the same process. This stuff is just way easier to find, so there's no point in laminating the backside of these old nautical charts with that thin Dyneema again, because it's hard to find that stuff. Yeah, so there we go. Now I can trim off the excess here. And now we have one exterior piece ready to go. So it's laminated on both sides. This paper is encased in there, so it's not going to get wet. And yeah, only like 5-6 more pieces to go before I can start cutting out the rest of the bag. All right, so now only like a half hour later, we've got all of our exterior pieces cut out. We got our center panel here, got our side panels, we've got our lid and our lid hinge. And now it's time to cut out the liner pieces, the back panel, the harness, lumbar pad, all the other stuff. There's, you know, about 200 separate little pieces that go into making a drop liner backpack. And while this is just like some of the coolest stuff I think I've seen, because I'm a bit of a map and chart nerd, I guess, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why this stuff is a little bit more expensive than buying a backpack that's made from new material. It just takes time to get all this stuff together, and so basically, yeah, that's what goes into it. A lot of time and hopefully some love, and yeah, make a cool backpack that will be unique. All right, so here it is. This is the first backpack that I've made from these vintage nautical charts laminated in this see-through Dyneema. So like we saw at the beginning of the video, I laminated both sides of it so that it is waterproof again. I reinforced behind this front panel here where this handle is, and I think it turned out pretty great. I flipped it inside out with no issues, so nothing tore or anything, and have our standard seam-sealed liner inside here in a blue color, which I think goes well with this nautical chart. So anyway, yeah, I hope to make more like this. They might look a little different with a grid pattern on the outside because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get more of this clear PSA Dyneema. So the next versions might have some grid lines on it, but other than that, I'm really hoping to make more of these because I think it's really cool. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Oh, and also just a quick PS, if people want a bag like this or a DOP kit or whatever made from a vintage nautical chart of their own home waters, I would love to do that. It's just a little bit tricky to find specific areas. Right now all I really have is British Columbia and Washington, but if it's something that you have and you want to send me to make a bag out of it, laminate it like this and make a bag out of it, I'd love to start that conversation, so please just shoot me an email, luke@trucedesigns.com. Thanks again.